something a little bit interesting here. I just filmed myself writing copy for 55 minutes. Now I'm going to go through what I've recorded of me and share the what and the why behind some of what I'm doing here. I hope this is helpful and fun. And I'm recording me playing back a Loom video. So, I hope that's picture in picture. I hope the technical, oh, that's good. The technical aspect of it works pretty smoothly. So you'll see some of this was already written before I got the idea to film it. That's all right. I'm not thrilled with this headline, but it just started me going, right? So this is really quick, standard stuff. And so, just some of the stuff that the training and the people who've learned these principles from me have gone on to do. Um, this is a page that's being built for cold traffic. So it's a little bit of like a hybrid approach, bit of an e-commy feel with a bunch of direct response elements for sure. But you'll see it's not very traditional sales letter where kind of everything is mysterious and I harp on the problem. Let me go back a little bit because this is important. So what you see that I've done, um, I had just written kind of headlines, like really rudimentary, plain language type headlines to jump me off. So I knew I was going to talk about transformation stories. I knew I was going to talk about what the investment was going to be, the guarantee, the bonuses. Uh, Here's your call to action. And then I had right underneath it, if you say no, I call that my reverse close. And then I had the one more because I like to end it with a big emotionally positive close, my preference, my style. And so here was the subhead I had for that. One more glorious but realistic picture of you. And so I will get into what I wrote here. I'm trying to keep the language and the sentences short and snappy. So I start off with it's you 60 days from today. You saw I played around with picture yourself 60 days from today. I just think language like that is really used a lot. So I just wanted to make it something slightly different. It's you 60 days from today. You've learned and implemented even just one of the ways to beat imposter syndrome. This is 15 ways to beat imposter syndrome. So, of course, I'm letting them know that even if you do just one, you'll get huge benefits. I also chose to use the word learned because sometimes I think discover is played out. And, you know, if you're familiar with some of the stuff I do in my personal brand and in the Diamond Day brand, it's like we think here and we're not afraid to think. And I'm not afraid to tell you that sometimes things are challenging and sometimes you have to think. So occasionally using the word learned instead of discovered, I still use discovered. It's not one or the other. Is an intentional move there. Implemented as well is an intentional, important word because I'm not trying to make it sound like they don't have to do any work, right? They have to implement what they're going to learn, or what the fuck is the point of it? And then I just start riffing, and my mind goes into like a very specific example for something I know a lot of my coaching clients struggle with, which is people pleasing, saying yes to everything. So I start with this very singular, specific story relating it to them, of course. Someone asks you to do something that you don't want to do. In fact, one thing I'll add is like that you don't really want to do. Um, you calmly and coolly say no. So very specific, right? And very storytelling, right? Putting them in the story. Calmly and coolly say no using some of the empowered language you've learned. So that is like that's going to raise curiosity, right? Like, ooh, what is the empowered language I'm going to learn to be able to say no to people? It's inside the course, of course, right? Language you've learned. They're not mad at you at all. In fact, they like you more and want to support you in what is truly important to you. So that's a glorious outcome, right? Like, what? I could tell people no and they'll still like me. Yes. In fact, they usually like you more. Um, you sit down to work and know exactly what you need to do. So again, I'm painting that other contrary image of feeling overwhelmed and not knowing what you're going to do. But imagine if you sit down to work and you know exactly what to do to get the result you want and you feel great about it. So I think some of that language could be tightened up there. But one of the things that I try to do when I'm writing is I just write, right? We're writing, we're not perfecting. Um, you feel great about it. 1 hour passes and you've executed exactly what you need to. And then I'm pretty sure I go back and I do revise that line and you'll hear, yeah. So 1 hour passes. I decided to change that because saying you only work for an hour could raise an objection, right? The skeptic will be like, there's, you work more than an hour, like get over it. So I'll say a short while passes and you've executed exactly what you need to do. Let me pause for a moment. There's always this dance between specificity and being artfully vague, right? And that is a very micro example of it. But if I stuck to the specificity of in 1 hour, you've executed exactly what you need, it just opens up the possibility to an unnecessary objection. So that's not a moment where you need that specificity. In fact, it could cause more harm than good. Whereas the phrase, a short while passes, that allows the reader to interpret and therefore whatever is short for them, maybe a 4 hour session is short for them, maybe 30 minutes is short for them, right? And maybe that is the realistic image for them. So I'm going to let their imagination do the work there. A short while passes and you've executed exactly what you need to. You're able to be present while you do whatever it is you want to do next, because that's sort of the third, like that could be a third thing that I know people struggle with and that I know my clients struggle with is they're not present because in the other aspects of their life because they're overwhelmed with the business stuff. So if you are clear and smooth and streamlined in your work, a benefit of that is you're able to be more present when you're not working because you're not worried about work. So that is everything I'm suggesting in that line. And in this own process of me filming this video to you, what did I just say, right? Like even other lines of copy that could potentially go into this letter. This is why, if you haven't heard me suggest this before, I always suggest you loom critique your own work, even if nobody sees it. Just describe why you're doing what you're doing in your own work, because you're going to say some magical words. I guarantee it, that you'll probably want to go in and add to your copy like I just did. So I just want to make sure I said everything I need to say about that. I think so. Let's continue the video here. You're able to be present while you do whatever it is you want to do next. So now I go from that vagueness, whatever it is you want to do next. I'm like, okay, let me give some specific, tangible imagery and examples of what whatever you want to do next might be. Spend time with family, exercise, sit and relax, whatever it may be. I'm thinking, I don't remember what I'm thinking about, but I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next. And you continue to feel great. Again, simple, not rocket science type language, just to keep us moving. Now I contrast that, right? So I just painted a picture of how everything is great. So let's go back in time. The times where you were frantic, frazzled, and afraid feel like a distant memory. I could add, it's only been 60 days, right? You understand who that person, that past version of you was. And I know I'm going to say something like, and you don't judge it. That's sort of like a meta teaching, right? Because so much of what I teach is, hey, we don't judge yourself. See, I said it, but then I wanted it more specific. You don't judge your past self. That's a meta teaching. We don't judge it, we accept it. But you're so happy to be where you are now. This is just a small snapshot of what truly waits for you on the other side of this little old screen. So why do I do that? Um, it's personable, it's fun, little old screen. I like informal language like that. It really bonds, it bonds you and it's a style opportunity too, right? Because maybe not everybody would say little old, that wouldn't be their language, but anytime you break into your own style of informal language, it becomes more unrivaled, it becomes more uniquely you, and it builds that connection to your reader in that way. The other thing, on the other side of this little old screen, it's like it's right there. It's right at your fingertips. All you got to do is click the button and buy, and you'll be through on the other side. So there's nothing standing in your way, pretty much. It's right on the other side. So we always want to be indicating how easy it is for them to get the hands on the material. And when you say yes to get inside and learn the material, um, see, now I'll tell you my train of thought that occurred here, because just a small snapshot of what truly waits for you on the other side of this little screen. And the normal pattern of that is, if you say yes, if you say yes, but I am so programmed to change those ifs, that conditional language in sales copy, to the more hypnotic when you say yes. So now I'm assuming they're going to say yes. I'm assuming they're going to get on the other side. That's a change. Maybe if you're just starting to add that more hypnotic, assumptive style. Maybe you type if at first, and through a round of editing, or even just in the moment, you're like, no, you know what? Let me do when. Just a little extra hypnotic trick. And when you say yes to get inside and learn the material, again, learn the material is I'm just keeping the hype. I'm trying to keep the hype at bay, right? It's not just when you buy it, even though some magic does happen when you buy something, but learn the material, you'll be well on your way to that new future being your everyday natural reality. So it speaks to the transformation that's going to occur, right? It'll feel natural. It'll be every day. You're going to be transformed. Social proof, just like many people have before you. I started with the word we're, and then I deleted that to say, so knowing you're fully guaranteed safe. Okay, now I know why I did that. So I started to say, um, we're guaranteeing this, right? Of course, there's a guarantee behind the course. It's entirely risk free. Um, but I wanted to change that we're giving you a guarantee to you're getting a guarantee, right? So it's just switching the we or the I to the you. So instead of I'm giving you this guarantee, I would highly suggest you most of the time probably switch that language to you're getting a guarantee. Again, just moving from I to you. So knowing you're fully guaranteed. And what does that guarantee really mean? It's safety, it's security, it's certainty. It's certainty that people want certainty as much as possible. So I really like saying, hey, you're safe. Knowing you're fully guaranteed, safe, and supported, go ahead and click the button below with excitement and curiosity. So there's a little CTA. Um, I always include the curiosity because that's part of the reason people are buying. And so I want to honor that and I want to speak to it like, yeah, I'm talking a pretty big game here, right? Like in 60 days, you're going to be more empowered and clear and a badass. Of course, the whole point of that is to raise curiosity. Like, how the hell can Laura promise me that? So I say, satisfy your curiosity. You're curious, aren't you? And then satisfy your curiosity and go ahead and click here. In fact, again, I really need to do this, practice what I preach, and constantly film videos talking about my own work, even when it's in the draft form, because it's a great line of copy. Like, you're curious, aren't you? Satisfy your curiosity, risk free in a completely safe environment. Um, so go ahead and click the button below with excitement and curiosity. I can't wait to see you inside the 15 ways masterclass, personal touch, right? I am going to see you. I hang out with enthusiasm. And then I sign it off, Elsie. So you'll see, because I wrote those broad strokes headlines, I was able to jump around into what I felt like writing in the moment. And so the first thing I felt like writing was, it's you 60 days from today, right? And of course, you always want to paint that future image. What do they look like immediately? I teach a lot about all the timelines. I decided to just focus on 60 days and I added the word just to make 60 days sound even shorter, right? Um, but you always want to be thinking in terms of timelines. What happens immediately? What happens in a week? What happens in 30 days, 60 days? You could play around with that in so many different ways. And so there's just one example of me doing the you in 60 days close. And now I've decided, I think, to move over to, all right, let me go back now. If they say no, right? And I'm just going to do plain, straightforward language. I'm speaking as much as I can from the heart here. If you say no, that would stink. I would miss you. I'd be sad that I didn't get the chance to help unleash, advance. Oh, I decided to change it. To help unleash you and advance you closer to what you really want in life. All true. I noticed that this is a lot of eyes talk, right? Too long, a lot of eyes in there. So even though I was about to write more about I in real time, I just flip it. I'm like, well, how would that language go if I used the you? Um, what's going to happen to them, right? If they say no, really, what's going to happen to them? You'd likely continue on the same patterns you currently fall into. Patterns are a motherfucker to break. And I know what a lot of those patterns are, right? Because this is the work I do. So those patterns look like you overpromise yourself that things will change, but under deliver on what you must do in order to change. So that's adding a little bit of specificity into what the patterns are. And I think, yeah, I want to make it even more specific, right? Goals don't get met. People don't support you. It keeps feeling lonely. These are the problems. This is the state that they're currently in, right? And so I'm saying, hey, if you don't decide to make a change, none of that shit's going to change. You keep hoping another magic bullet will improve things. Things is a vague word, I would change that. And this is you're watching me write my first draft. So in a round of revision, I would just swap things for something specific. That could be, improve your revenue, your business, your relationships. And this is me. Let me pause for a moment. At best, you continue to keep doing okay. So, because I want to speak to the people who are doing okay. Like this is personal development training. It's not so much go from 0 to 1. It's not if you're broke, I'm going to save your life. Uh, if you're broke, just keep watching my free content like this video right here. But my ideal person is not that. My ideal person is not that completely shattered and broken person. I entirely want to help them. And that's why I create free content for that. But really my ideal person who, because this is an introductory offer, I want them to go on this, long journey with me and be my customer and somebody that I help for a really long time. And so that person, is doing okay, but they want to be unleashed. They want to ascend. They want to advance. They want to expand, all the words I use, and they want to grow. They want to do more. They want to accomplish more. They want to earn more. They want to feel more like a badass. So I think to myself, all right, let me speak to, you're doing okay. At best, things stay the same and you continue to keep doing okay. You keep getting by, but you're not getting that expansion that you want, right? Um, and they're busy. Yeah, my people are busy. So aren't we all? At first, you continue to keep doing okay, getting by, but being so busy. Getting by, but feeling like something is missing. I think I do one more. Oh, I wanted to say, it's a good note for me to add it, not meeting your full potential, right? That's how a lot of my people feel. They're doing stuff, but they know they're not meeting their full potential. And I want to be really honest here. Um, it's a little bit of a push-pull dynamic right there. Like, and you know what? Hey, if you stayed the same, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because you're already doing okay. At least you're getting by. So it creates a comfortable, emotionally safe sales environment. When I say, you know what, if you didn't get this and things stayed the same and you're doing okay, that wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, right? But is that what you really want? So anytime you can create that little push pull, it's really powerful, right? It really actually helps create safety, because when you're always pulling, pulling, pulling on them, come on, this is the greatest thing ever. Come on, this is the greatest thing ever. You need this. The natural response is to back away and put up a little bit of resistance to that. So anytime you could say, hey, you know what? If you don't get it, it wouldn't be the worst thing. If you're still doing okay, that's fine. Then they're like, well, now I kind of want it. So just one short little line that gives some of that dynamic. At least you'd be getting by. But if you feel like you want more, which is where my people are at, like there's greatness to life out there, greatness for yourself and your ambitions. Why would you risk missing out on that? So, this is what I call actual risk reversal. The guarantee alone is not risk reversal, in so much as by saying no, they take a risk. It's not that their money is guaranteed. That's all well and good, and that's really important. But reversing, if you think about the concept of reversing risk, then the risk is not buying, the risk is not buying. So that's what I'm starting to do here, some of what I call like true risk reversal. So you risk missing out on the greatness for yourself and your ambitions. Why would you risk that when so much can shift for you with just 1 hour of your time and a small investment in yourself? So I do keep, uh, yes, they are risk-free investment, by the way. So that's me really trying to hammer the risk is missing out. The risk is not in investing in this. And again, I just said a line. I can't wait to watch this back myself. I just said a line that would be worth adding, right? The risk is missing out. The risk is not investing in this. In fact, I'll probably flip that. Um, the risk is not investing in this masterclass. The risk is missing it. Powerful. Which I think it's habitualized for me to do that, because I always practice doing true risk reversal in that way. So I said the only risk you face, and I want is not investing in this course, but it's not investing. That means the only risk you face is reverting to your usual patterns. So what happens if they don't buy? Revert. So the only risk you face is reverting to your usual patterns, convincing yourself you don't need whatever the heck I'm about to say. I really like this. Convincing yourself you don't need the support, guidance. Nope, I decided to change it. Yeah, because I was going through and I'm like, well, what? Because this is what people do. This is what sales objections are, right? This is when somebody like kind of wants something, but they throw up objection and objection and objection. It's not even always that these objections are to you. These objections, they're to themselves. They're convincing themselves that they don't need it, or they're convincing themselves that they're going to mess it up anyway. So, what does your prospect can do to talk themselves out of working with you, right? So they quite literally convince themselves of it. So I knew as soon as I wrote the words convincing yourself, I was like, oh yeah, that's really juicy. I mean, there's a ton you could iterate and spin on of this whole, what are you convincing yourself of, right? And then I thought, so I'm like, well, what are, like, they would say, I don't need the boost. I don't need the boost. I'm okay. Things are okay. I don't need the boost. So I want to try my best to speak directly to that. So, like, yeah, support and guidance is great, but I thought the boost is more of what they would convince themselves they don't need. They might be more willing to admit that they need support and guidance. But maybe they would say, I don't need the boost. I'm pretty motivated, right? Convincing yourself you don't need the boost of actionable motivational jet fuel that's beyond behind this little old screen. Again, it's right there. It's right at fingertips. And so how do I flip that? Right? You're encouraged by me and yourself not to convince yourself of that. So how about instead of convincing yourself, you encourage yourself? It's kind of what I'm going for here. In fact, a more powerful line would probably be just the straightforward, don't make the mistake of convincing yourself of that, right? The direct command at that point, um, and telling them that it's a mistake. But see, there's like embedded language there, because instead of the declarative, it's a mistake, to convince yourself of that, it's more like, because then that's a resistance point. Like, wait a minute, don't tell me I'm making a mistake. But if I were to say, don't make the mistake of convincing yourself of that, it's a little bit softer, and it's more encouraging. Like, instead of me saying I encourage you, if I change that line to don't make the mistake of doing this, then I am actually encouraging them. So that is something that's a change, or an addition. I might make it as an addition. We'll just see. Hopefully that all makes sense. And like, some of this is nitty gritty, for sure, because we're going line by line, and I'm taking you through line by line what I did, why I did it, how I'm going to improve it. But I hope you can see like the larger like pictures and the larger ways to think about sales copy and being persuasive and creating an emotionally good, safe sales environment. Okay. Not to convince yourself of that, and instead satisfy your curiosity one more time and join me. Oh, let's see. Do I change that? Oh no, I put it in bold. See, that's what bold is for scanners. So I just want them, if they become curious, which I assume at this point they have, then I'm telling them, go ahead and satisfy your curiosity. That's the simple way I did a quick write negative quote. Now I'm looking around and I'm thinking, okay, what area do I want to get some copy for next? But you can see in just about 15 minutes, I've like written a positive, grand emotional close, how I like to end, and that negative, what happens if you don't buy clothes. And now I feel like going to the price story, which is what this is under the you got to invest category. And so I'm going to hit it right out with the price. I'm not going to do any crazy, like nutty marketer type price justification stuff. I'm just not in the mood. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it's my shit, so I'm doing it my way. And I'm just going to hit him with what the price is. It's a $97 investment to access all of the materials inside 15 ways to beat imposter syndrome. And let's see what I decide. I decided to jump around. Let's see what I decide to do next. Maybe, let's see if I could put our playback at 1.2 at least to get us moving, because I could pause it whenever I need. It's just really important to remember when you're writing that like nothing is set in stone. So just if you want to jump around, if you don't like a headline, it doesn't matter. Just keep moving. It's not done yet. We're writing, right? You got to invest. It's a $97 investment to access all of the materials inside 15 ways to beat imposter syndrome. There's a meta lesson here, and I'm going to try to teach it. You'll see. Investing in yourself is, by the way, a great way to tell yourself that you're not an imposter. Right? Because if you put $1 down on yourself, imposters don't do that. So putting $1 down on yourself and your dreams is a critical step in the process. It will truly benefit you. And I really, really, really fucking mean that. And let me tell you, I already know, it's already in my head as I'm writing this line that it's going to raise bullshit flags, right? This girl is telling me to give her money and saying it's going to benefit me. So I fully know that I have to counter that, uh, resistance that's going to come up right there. And so I do very quickly. But first, I got to finish this sentence, right? It will truly benefit you. And my hope, this is all just really sincere mano a mano talking here, right? My hope is that I'm not a big fan of the unclear antecedent it, so I would probably change that too. And it is my hope that investing in yourself will force you to pay attention to the life changing information you're about to access. And it will benefit me too, right? Because I want that to be a short, snappy sentence to where they see, I even look, see, that's why I add the end. Yes, I know what you're thinking. It will benefit me too. I could add that line. I know what you're thinking. And of course, it will benefit me too. And I'm like, this is a point of differentiation. I could say a lot of marketers try to avoid saying you paying me benefits me. Yeah, I mean, fucking of course, right? So let's just call a spade here. That's always a big opportunity. Anytime you're just being really fucking honest, you can point out that because it's likely that others in your industry are not being so honest. So it's a good opportunity for you to call it out and say, you notice other people don't say that, yet we all kind of know what's going on. Again, another line I could put in, yet we all know this is happening, but nobody talks about it. So I'm going for it here. And yes, it will benefit me too. You ever notice how marketers try to avoid saying that part? LOL, conversational, like how I would talk to a friend. I notice that when I keep my mouse here, the text on the screen is clearer. That's weird. Anyway, I hope you can see it well. It will benefit me because, and now I'm trying to figure it out, right? I'm trying to figure out how do I be honest, right? And a lot is actually going through my head because this is designed to be a self liquidating funnel. So I will likely not make a ton of profit here. So the whole story that marketers sometimes tell. To be honest, I haven't seen it in a while, so I don't know how popular this strategy is. Um, and but let me get to my point: is people will say in sales copy, when you buy this, it helps me spread the message to other people. And that's actually true. Well, like that's actually at play here. So it's like, look, if you buy this, I can keep running ads. I mean, here's the way I might do it if I was to take that approach. I would make it even more transparent, specific, and honest. So it's like, look, you buy this, right? And of course, I hugely hope, and I'm going to talk about this more, you'll see me write it, that you get value in excess of what you've invested. And that helps me keep running ads so that I can help other people, So I kind of wanted to say that, but I felt like that approach, especially because at the time I wasn't thinking of being as specific as then I could keep running ads. I felt like that approach was kind of played out, and it sort of goes back to like I'm not owning the yes, you paying me benefits me. So I'm trying in my head to to get all of that out, as you can see. Um, and I think I just decided to keep it as simple as I possibly could. Obviously, you're trusting your investment to me, and that benefits me. And I take it wildly seriously. So I don't know if in this one I would say your investing lets me buy more ads and reach more people, but it's definitely something I want to play around with in the future. But I think the simplicity here is okay. And let's face it, it's a $97 price point. I don't know, do I need to justify it out of my ass? Um, but I decided to lean into how seriously I take it, which is all very true. And I take it wildly seriously. If you don't get value in excess of your investment, I do not want your money. Um, I could say, in fact, is a nice transitional phrase I could add there. In fact, this course is designed to introduce you to me, again, because it's cold traffic, and the way that I teach Let's see what my ADHD had me do. Make that in bold. Again, bold is for scanners. So it's like if they're scanning and they can only see like a few words here and there, what are the most important words and what has like a bit of a hypnotic effect on them? Like if I was the little good fairy voice in their head, put $1 down on your dreams. Like those are the things that I put in bold, and I'm very careful not to put too many things in bold because if you shout too loudly, you hear nothing. So yeah, my ADHD brain went ahead and put that in bold real quick. This course is designed to introduce you to me and the way that I teach. This course is so jam packed with value. My hope is you want to learn even more from me. Very true. Or that it changes your life for years. And you'll see, I know I kind of in a moment. Or that it changes your life and that you don't need to buy another personal development training for years. That's what for years is your life so deeply that you don't need to buy another personal development training for years. Either way is absolutely groovy to me. Facts. Just just sharing the facts here. So I think there's a little bit of power in yes, it benefits me. Period. Like I'm teaching people not to feel imposter syndrome. And this is good content that I'm about to say. Like, no wonder we feel like imposters because we have to act humble and like we don't want money all of the time, you know? Like, oh, I don't, I have to act like I don't want you to pay me. And I'm sick and tired of it. I personally am over that. So there is an embodiment, a self expressive benefit here. There's an embodiment principle that I'm following here that I would teach to them, and that I do teach. Like, yes, I want the money. Gotta live, gotta eat, gotta fly private, hopefully, or do whatever you like, right? There's power in just saying, yes, it benefits me, period. In fact, another way to do it, it benefits me. That said, I take it really fucking seriously, or it benefits me. Um, that doesn't mean I don't take it seriously, which I don't prefer. I prefer it benefits me. That said, I take it so wildly seriously. There's a lot you could play around with there. Like, that said, I don't take it more seriously than your satisfaction. Ooh. Like that's something that you might see in the letter when it's done. So something like that. So I'm going to play around with that some more. And then I move into the guarantee. So my standard way of doing it doesn't mean it's the way I do it all the time, but I like you tell them the price and then the guarantee because, okay, you've set a number. That's always going to create a little resistance, a little, I don't know. I got to exchange money. Like, damn it. Okay, so let me come right in and say, hey, you're safe. You're protected. There's a guarantee. If you're not satisfied, thrilled, you could get your money back. So we go from the price to the guarantee. What you're about to access, I don't have a CTA yet in this case because I want them to see the big bonus stack that's going to follow because every bonus, it's like $97, but you're going to get this for free, but you're going to get this for free, but you're going to get this for free. And now it feels like, holy shit, I get a ton of stuff for $97. So it's after that I want to do my call to action in this example. Things are going to modify depending on what the offer is. But just in case you were curious, that's why I don't immediately do a CTA after I reveal the price. But I do move into the guarantee. What you're about to access has been proven to create massive life-changing shifts for those who've applied it, a little bit of social proof, and I guarantee it can do the same for you. Nice conditional language there. It just keeps it believable, right? I say those who applied it, it can do the same, If I say it will do the same for you, then people could be like, no, it won't. Or they could be like, will it? Versus it can. It's much harder to take issue with it. It could. If you really fucking use it, if you use it, I guarantee that it will. But even for the softness in the writing, I toned down my own certainty for the writing to avoid as much as possible that resistance from the reader. Anyway, I guarantee it can do the same for you. But if you don't jive with the material, then I'm trying to, if anything. And then, so I go to something even more specific and kind of funny. If even the tone of my voice in the 1 hour plus training, I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say, is hard for you to listen to. And then I want to say, nobody's actually ever said that. No one has ever said this, but hey, conversational, fun. But maybe you have particular, look at this, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to add the hey. But hey, maybe you have particular ears. Could say sensitive ears would be like a more precise term. Then I demand you. And now I'm just figuring out like the technicalities of how a refund process works. What I was wondering in my head before I wrote email our support team was, um, is there is there a way in our portal, our shopping portal, that they could do a one-click refund? I'm not sure. That's a tech question. I got to ask my tech guy, because I would say that if it's that easy for them to go ahead and click a button and get a refund, I would tell them that that's the way to do it. I'm pretty sure they have to send an email. Um, as much specificity as possible, lets them know they're safe, lets them know it's legit. So I put the email address in there. I demand you send an email to our team and receive. No questions asked. We're not going to hassle you. We're not going to do all this shit. Refund, full refund of your investment within 24 hours. I actually added a little personal ditty to this, which I'll show you after I finish up this, um, in the hopes of making this guarantee even more personal and even more powerful, which is a story about how I have not received a refund that I am entitled to. And it's been really fucking annoying. I'll show you. Meta lesson. Money moves as an exchange of value. So if you, and core principle, really true belief that I have, if you don't feel like you've gotten value for your money, then I don't want your money. Just facts. It's tricky here, and I might add a line about this, because like I know this has been said before, but it's bullshit by the other people saying it. It's not bullshit to me. Um, so I want to think about a way, like maybe you've heard that before, but it hasn't been your experience. Um, well, I can't wait to show you something new, or I can't wait to show you what you really deserve, or I can't wait to show you what empowered, doing business in this empowered fashion looks like, because that's also an embodiment like thing, right? I'm doing what I teach. So I might want to add a line about that. You'll never be messed around with by me in this capacity. I don't want to say or in any capacity. Welcome to the empowered way of doing business with me. So I'm just sort of saying shit that other people won't say, you know? Here's a true story. Someone who lives, breathes, and loses sleep over your experience. All true? And that's going to tie into a story I tell somewhere else in the letter. Okay. I think that's, give me a moment. So again, if they scan, what do I want them to see? And so I think I determined that that is a pretty good start, all just starting, of the guarantee. Let's speed us up. I think what I want to do, yeah, I'm trying to, um, oh, yeah, this is what I decided to do. Yeah, because putting a dollar down on yourself, that's sort of like a betting term. Uh, and I want to do a little bit of price justification. Like, look, you've spent $100 on way dumber shit than this. So why not spend it on something that could really fucking change your life? That's like what I wanted to do. And I thought about it from my own experience. Uh, and so I'm going to tell a little story about myself. Of course, telling stories about yourself, your audience is going to get to know you. And if they're your people, they're going to like you more the more that they get to know you. So putting a dollar down on yourself and your dreams is a critical step in the process. Look, I'm an accomplished, no limit Texas Hold'em player. Sidebar, you see how I'm just kind of jumping in and adding this like tangent? So, simple tool in the arsenal is like these little transitional words like, look, you could do listen. Um, Now, by the way, or now, or remember, or consider. So I'm of the belief and knowledge that you can do a lot. You can add kind of random things nearly anywhere, so long as you have this level of mastery over these like just simple little words to include that will bring the person from one place to the other. And in fact, it makes when you do this, if you're like, oh, I really want to add this thing, and you kind of find where it should go, and even if it pulls out like right from the flow, because right, I'm talking about them putting a dollar down on your dreams, and then I derail us for a moment, but it keeps the writing interesting when you do that here and there, right? Versus this very formulaic, rigid flow. So, anytime you want to add something and you think it's random, it's probably, and when done well, an opportunity for you to actually make the piece as a whole better. Because I bet, like, when we get this on a website and look at heat maps of it, like, people will slow down because it's literally like something new in the road. If there's something new in the road and you're driving, you got to slow down to look at it. And that's quite literally what happens here. And I do it because I wanted to tell them that they've done dumber things with $100 because haven't we all? I certainly have. Look, I'm an accomplished no limit Texas Hold'em player, some specificity, telling the story from Atlantic City to Vegas to South Florida. I'm no stranger to a casino. I've put $100 down on Black and Lost more than once. All true stories. What silly things have you spent your money on? Now, how do I bring it back? So let's see what little, instead of a silly thing, this is a life changing investment. And see, I knew it. Okay, look, this is so fun to watch. Um, Instead of a silly thing, this is a life changing investment. What's the problem? This is higher level nitty gritty stuff. But what's the problem with, instead of a silly thing, this is a life changing investment? It's too declarative. It's too blanket. It's too generic, right? Because everybody just goes around and says, this is life changing. This is life changing. And so I don't want this moment of polarization that I'm creating here, right? This $100 on Black is silly. This is a really good use of $100, a really fucking good use of $100. I don't want that to fall flat by just saying it's life changing for everybody. So I qualify it to make it more realistic, right? And more honest. So instead of a silly thing, if you really want to be and feel, and then I'm like, yeah, feel, if you really want to be further ahead in your business and life, this is a life-changing investment. And even so, I hope you see how just adding that little transitional phrase, I mean, that little qualification is so powerful, because I'm not saying it's a life-changing investment for everybody. Um, it's if you really want to be further ahead. This is way better than putting $100 on black, even if you win. That'd be a fun thing to say. This is still better. Even if you win and double your money, this is still better than that. You're still going to get a larger ROI out of this. And then one thing I'll say, if I put my editing hat on, life changing, little vague, little cliche. So I might look for more specific, poignant language to, how is it life changing? Like, what could I substitute life changing for? But again, this is a first draft, so that's fine. Use those cliches to get you through a first draft. Just be a bloodhound to them when you edit. Okay, I want to go back a smidgen, because I think I do something. I have reasons for why I do what I do. I add my qualifier. Saying yes. Now I'm like seeding. Yes, yes, yes. You're going to say yes. Saying yes and investing in yourself right now. Now I'm adding some immediacy. We stacked that on right now will benefit you. Confirming that you're stepping up and saying, I am worthy, I am ready. So, like, what I mean by that is, like, that in and of itself is like you starting to beat your imposter syndrome, which might be a good line to add. Plus, it will force you, investing in yourself right now. I repeat it, I'm pretty sure. Investing right now will force you to pay attention to the life changing information you're about to access. So it's fun doing that. It's fun, like, inserting things into like existing material, because it's fun, like, doing the pieces on either side to get it to fit in. And it always, like, it feels magical to me when that happens. Okay, so then I was pretty happy, um, with the guaranteeing with what you're investing. And now, okay, so I realized, I'm like, wow, this is getting pretty personal. So I started it with this, like, kind of more branded feel of it. And I just told a story about how I play poker. And then so it's like, well, who are you? Because I did not have a space up here. I think my initial plan was to introduce me, like, all of this, by the way, is by Laura Catella down at the bottom. But since I get quite personal talking about myself and the material, I'm like, to be logical, I have to introduce myself up top. So I'm like, where's the section for that? I put your dedicated instructor. Dedicated, I don't feel like is the best word, because it, like, could suggest there are other instructors, and for this course you get me when I'm the whole show, baby. Like, you're with me all the time. So I might change that to your badass, or your enthusiastic instructor, or your whatever. Um, but I popped that in there just because I became aware that, oh, because this gets pretty personal, I'm gonna have to introduce myself. And I just had a bio, a pretty good one, written about me. People write better bios of me than I do for myself. So I'm like, perfect. Divine timing as always. Let me go ahead, and even just that little tiny blurb, you know, is fine, because they're going to learn more about me through the stories and through everything else I'm teaching, but they get a little credentialization and all. And then I think about switching the order of some things. So I just swapped. You could, like, rewind if you want to see that, but I decided to swap two sections based on, okay, if I introduced me there, then it would probably make more sense to have some success stories, and then here's how you get the success story for yourself, basically. So now I decide to move to the bonus section, which I had to go to my own website where the product hangs out with no sales material, no sales copy on it. What are the bonuses we include again? Okay, so I decide next I'm going to write about the bonuses. You'll notice I'm including like cues for my graphic designer because in fact I'm going to give even more detail. I'm going to tell them make sure that that's a robust image. You know, you want these things to look like they see the PDFs, they see the video training, and blah blah blah. I thought for a moment about using the phrase mini course because it's like, you know, they say, don't tell them it's an ebook. Nobody wants to buy an ebook. And of course, there's a lot of truth to that, right? But there's also, because I do make like pretty big claims, life changing. And so I like balancing that with the honesty, right? And the transparency of it's a mini course. And for a bonus, hey, free mini courses bonus is really fucking good. It's not the size, it's how you use it. Anyway, get you out of a procrastination in 5 minutes. It is help people end multi-month cycles of procrastination so that they generate, I would put these in the present tense, generate income, fix relationships, and get started in what they've been putting off virtually instantly. That's true. In fact, I could tell the store, I'll use the gal's name, the couple of names I have for people who have gotten those results like um, very quickly. In fact, first of all, it's important to note that I say virtually instantly because even though it's a little bit of a mouthful, again, instantly is like too aggressive, right? Invites resistance. Virtually instantly softens it a little bit. What's even better is, you know, in hours, like in 3 hours. You know, I could look, I got to check her testimonial and see exactly the time frame and put it in there. So one way that I think about bonuses is like every bonus, yes, it adds value, but position your bonus so that it answers an objection, encounters an objection. So you're going to see me do some writing to tie in this bonus mini course, Rocket Fuel Action Taking, into why it's relevant to the imposter syndrome course and how it might answer an objection that people might have. Like, well, so what? I know how to be. So what? I don't feel imposter syndrome doesn't mean I'm going to know what to do. Well, what to do next? Of course, I believe it will, but what the hell? I have a course that makes sure they know what to do next. So, because those training and tools, so you get clear on what you should be doing to get the results you want, and then the accountability follow ups to ensure you actually get it done. And then I do the retail value. I like a low believable retail value. It's just so nice. Like in the days of this thing's $4,000, you get it for free. Um, Nope, just really honest. You save 27 bucks. Plus, relative to the 97, it all makes sense. So here's where I really try to relate it to the 15 ways. So once you've tapped into the 15 ways to beat imposter syndrome, you have what you need to take action on your newfound clarity and confidence. So it brings you results you're looking for. Of course, results, another example of a big word that when we go into revision, replace that with something more specific. Like again, I go check what are the bonuses again? 10 ways to get premium clients. Okay, perfect. If you're a coach or a freelancer, you'll want to hit the ground running. I am such a bloodhound to typos. As soon as I see that red or blue underline, I got to fix it. I think that's good. If you could cultivate that habit, I encourage you to do so because I still receive work from copywriters that have red underlines, and it's shocking to me. You'll want to hit the ground running after, I want to say, your fear, self doubt disappears from your mind thanks to the 15 ways. So that's like a nice painting the picture of the future, results in advance sort of thing, a little bit hypnotic, right? Because I'm telling them, hey, this is what's going to happen. Like, the fear and self doubt's going to go away and you're going to want to hit the ground running. Good news is, I've got you, right? And this bonus is designed to give you the tactical ways to do that and a little bit of info about what the course is. You'll discover the 10 most powerful ways to get premium clients, even if this will be your first client. In fact, I detail, all true, of course, every step I took to get my first clients. And those steps are not what you hear anywhere else. What does that mean specifically? No working for free, no cold soliciting, no portfolio, no experience. It's true. It's true. That didn't stop me from making thousands of dollars with my first clients. Yep. With my very first clients. No one is doing or teaching this. It's true, except me. And 10 ways to get premium clients. But it will probably, again, probably blow your mind. Nice little conditional softening. But it will probably blow your mind and, more importantly, actually work for you. I want to say work for you if you do it. Make it even more, you know, hey, remember you got to do stuff. Remind them, put in images for all of these things. And then I'm pretty sure I decide, because this to me is a little bit more systematic, right? Top type of copy. It's definitely something I could hand off to a another copywriter. Um, so I decide I'm less interested in writing the descriptions for each bonus at this point, and that is okay. Just keep moving, just keep going. So I list what the other two bonuses are: retail value, all yours free, not if, when you say yes, and get 15 ways to beat imposter syndrome. I'm a formatting Nazi. To me, it like has to look beautiful in the draft. It helps your designers out more than you know also. So you get that formatted and looking good. And then I do a ditty on thinking. Now here's our first call to action. And I open it with the story about the amazing Jeannie Mai. You'll see it. I copied and pasted to get the text formatting uniform, but I'll delete that Hatwood in just a second. Jeannie's a client of mine. In fact, like little things I like to do. So when I first write, it's like pretty much always my just way that I don't do the contraction a lot of the time. But in revision, when I catch it, Jeannie's apostrophe S, a client of mine, it just makes it faster. So I try to catch those opportunities to do contractions. Not always. Like here, you could even, if I was like dogmatic or dichotomous and like we have to do it all the time, to be like, that'd stink. I'd miss you. No, like you want some variation. So I like that would stink. I like the repetition. I would miss you. And then we move it into the I'd be sad. So minor stylistic stuff, but stuff I definitely geek out over and love nonetheless. She was struggling with anxiety over public speaking. Couldn't even go on Instagram Live. She discovered exactly what you're about to tap into, and within 1 month, she was speaking on stage in front of hundreds of people without panic or even worry. She crushed it and was thrilled. So we talked about Jeannie. We got to relate it back to the reader. Imagine feeling so good. You've accomplished what you've been wanting for a long time. Wanting to do for a long time. And now I want to talk about, because I know further on, I say this shit really matters to me, right? I say I run around, or I say I lose sleep, right? When I wrote that, I thought of the story of me losing sleep for Jeannie. So now I know that I can talk about that and it's going to satisfy what I say later on about how important this is to me and that I lose sleep over it. So I know I got to get to that. So this is what I do here. And I want to say one thing too, because it's like, I say, here's your call to action, and I'm not really starting a call to action yet. And that is entirely okay. It's another example of one of those if something's in the road, you got to slow down to look at it, right? Because here's your call to action. Jeannie's a client of mine. She's telling me a story about Jeannie, huh? So one thing that helps, like, it's part of the process. It's like the process that creates these cool opportunities to do something unexpected, right? So by just jotting down really bare bones, plain language, don't steal my style, okay? Like, or go ahead, steal it. I don't, whatever. Do whatever you're gonna do. I'm not gonna be able to stop you, but that's part of the magic of, okay, I got these like headlines, these sections. I loosely know what I'm gonna say, and if you start doing something a little bit different within that section, like there you go, you're creating some of the magic. Um, and I had no idea 46 minutes ago, like that I was going to write about Jeannie in this letter. I didn't have that planned. So you never know. You do not know until you just start going and flowing and playing around and not getting hung up on the tiny things that I'll pause and discuss here for fun, like contractions, like more specificity than life changing, less, more specificity than results, less cliche than life changing. Like that's all fine. Like that'll all come. But I would say don't, unless you immediately know, ooh, I want to say this instead, of course, and write it down. But don't get hung up. Don't stop. Don't come to a dead stop at those minor things. Just keep going because, the brain unlocks and stuff happens. I wanted to let you guys know too, this video way over an hour. Would have been fun to do this as a live training. I could do it as a live training sometime. I'll show you. Oh no, I can't. Oh, yes, I can. I think so. I had ADHD break. I had this playlist playing. So these are Baroque classics. And there have been studies that shown that Baroque music can get you into like an alpha brainwave state of flow where you just kind of feel good and calm and you're going and you're moving. So, and I love Baroque music. So this is what I had on playing. If you're interested in trying that out. I'll also sometimes do the same song, just the same song on repeat because it gets very zen. I didn't do that this time. Where did I go? Uh-oh. Oh no. You lost a little video of me? Where are we recording now? Uh-oh. I hope this didn't mess everything up. Hold on. Let me try. What if I minimize? Oh, hey, there's the group. And then open it back. I don't know. Oh no, I'm so sorry, guys. I don't know what happened. So you might have lost. We're really close to the end here. If you lost the picture of me, I'm so sorry. That it? Bummer. All right. Well, hopefully you got my voice, of course, and I'll just keep going. So, hey, I'm back. Okay. Who knows? Who knows what will look like in the recording. So, I'm telling the story of Jeannie. And guess what? Jeannie told me she conquered her own imposter syndrome. So, obviously, that's part of was holding her back, right? And got on that stage and owned it. I did a lap around my house in my underwear. Provocative. It's part of my brand. Modulate to your style. Maybe, have the audience envision you in your underwear, maybe not, totally up to you. It's true. So there's that. I could not sleep. I was so thrilled for her. Can you, for the love of God, let me do a lap in my underwear for you too? This is true. This is my entreaty to you. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to your curiosity of if, I think I correct that in a little bit, if 15 ways is really as powerful as it looks. So all the curiosity stuff I spoke to earlier. Now I'm just like, this is like a hypnotic yes repetition. Yes, yes, yes. Yes to wanting more, to advance, and investing in yourself to do so. Let me fix that. One thing I'll say, it's funny, like the blue. I'm not as much of a bulldog to the blue underlines as I am the red ones. That's interesting. So now it's like a quick, it's like, I do this automatically at this point. Like, okay, like I could skim and see, oh yeah, here's an opportunity for more specificity, right? Accomplishing what you've wanted to do for a long time, getting the, like, what do I mean by that, right? Getting the clarity, direction, and boost that you've needed to do this. So I know I'm speaking to the boost that I talk about later in just one measly little hour of powerful training. Like, that's it. It only takes an hour. You just know that's kind of like who else says that? So I put it in bold. It's an opportunity to grab a scanner, right? And of course, you got to end it with a very clear CTA. Click the button. And I decide to stick with this saying yes motif. Also, that's a hypnotic command, right? You're saying yes. So I put it in bold and underline it, because if they're scanning and I'm the little angel on their ear, you're saying yes. And we know that button text like can make a really big difference. So I'm in, teach me the 15 ways, and give me my bonuses to Eden just walked in. I'm going to pause. Okay. Click the button right here. I had to rewind a little bit to make sure we're all together. And then, so this is like direction for my developer button, whole width of the screen, no little ass button. I'm in, teach me the 15 ways. Again, teach my people like to learn. That's who I want to attract. So I'm not afraid of that language. And give me my bonuses too. And then we have right after that, if you say no, the negative close. Again, they can scan. I go to that specific example. If they're scanning and they're only reading the subheadlines and the bolded text, is that the story? Right. So that's why by now, doing this shit a long time, I know what to put in bold, because I mean, you can see before I bolded, um, whatever the heck I bolded prior, and then this next part like answers that previous thing I bolded. But if you feel like you wanted more, why would you risk missing out? So I'm just kind of getting some of my text decoration in order. I forget, I might have stepped out of the room at this point. I think I stepped out of the room for a little break. So let me just put it at 2x speed as I close out talking about this and see if there's anything else I did. Probably not. Probably just came back and stopped the recording. So there you go. I feel like that was as fast as an AI could do it. If I'm like giving the AI prompts and trying to smooth it out, it would probably take the same amount of time. But, if it was like health copy or something I don't really do too much of, um, that AI would probably save me a lot of time. But since this is my shit, for now, I do it probably at the same pace as it would take with AI. That's mostly a joke. I have no idea if that's true or not. So that's that. That is watching me write and in turn edit a little bit in my head with you. Um, and I hope it was super duper helpful. I hope it was awesome. This has been fun. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I don't know if I'll be able to answer if they're like nitty gritty tactical copywriting questions. You might need to get in a coaching program with me for that. But if they're theoretical, I might be able to answer them. Thank you. See you guys next time. Bye.